admit this, Geno, I like his personality. He's got some
Okay.
charisma.
What's there not to like?
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing. Look, I don't believe in the Raiders like Nick does, but I am not sleeping. Geno, I am not sleeping on you. I'm comatose. All right? I am dead to the world when it comes to the Raiders. I'm knocked out, Wild. You can't wake me up. I'm totally oblivious to the Raiders. Can we stop it with the Raiders this, the Raiders that? Really? You're the worst team in your division. All right?
Are they?
Yeah. They are.
Okay, we'll see.
I mean, obviously, you got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You got the Chargers. You got the Broncos.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
man, and Geno is a nice quarterback. I'm glad he has resurrected his career.
Yeah.
But this is the quarterback you love, Nick. With the quarterback, I'll just say you're not very high on last year.
How many times are we going to see
I'm
this
just
same
saying.
graphic?
But you talk about Geno like he's awesome, and Brock had a better year last year. You talk about Brock like he was terrible.
I disagree with you that Brock had a better year.
Which category is Brock not better in?
He had better stats than Geno last year.
His team lost for him. So you're not a QB wins guy.
No, but I am how you are playing in big moments, guy. I am that. I am. Were you?
He's hasn't had good moments?
I feel like the Seattle Seahawks last year had a better record than their talent otherwise would have because of the play from their quarterback.
That's not great play from quarterback.
Again, Brew, I
21 and 15.
I think, and I know you agree with this. I think sometimes you can play better than your stats say, and sometimes you can play worse than your stats say. But if we're going to do a stat off, we can do it. Because here's
but hold on, I got more. Here's the thing with Geno, not stats. Geno, I don't think he has great weapons to throw to. Now, Genty looks good.
Brock Bowers pretty good.
Right? Right. The type I'm talking about outside.
Okay, well, he's a weapon.
Because he is a weapon. But I'm talking about wide receivers.
Oh, he's had better receivers
Since
earlier
Geno's resurgence, he's had DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jigba.
Yes.
Smith and Jigba. So, he's got nothing like that outside of the tight end position.
But he now has the best running back he's ever had and the best tight end he's ever had. And I don't think Lockett at this last few years was a special player. He was better earlier. Yeah, earlier, but that was more resurgence. Maybe his first year.
He and DK had over 1,000 yards.
And DK's great. But so here's I just want people to, at some point, move past their priors on Geno Smith. Since he took over the Seattle Seahawks, he was this full-time starter for 3 years. Are we cool with yards and touchdowns mattering?
Yeah, I know.
There's the quarterbacks who average 4,000 yards a season and mid-20s touchdowns a season. It's those four guys. And they all had a 95-plus passer rating. That's the full list of the entire league. Now, how about Geno again?
Here's the thing, though, and this is what's so funny about stats like this. And I'm a believer in Geno, and I'm a believer in the Las Vegas Raiders, but I know for a fact that Nick Wright does not believe in Jared Goff. He literally made fun of him, had doll hands, and said that the Detroit Lions are going to have to look to move on from Jared Goff if the line, he ripped the contract that when Jared Goff got, he does not believe in Jared Goff as a quarterback. So this is what's always so tricky and funny about stats, that we use them when they want to support our argument, even if it includes someone that we don't fundamentally agree with. So that's why the argument of how great Geno has been, you could actually make this argument for this, because I actually believe that Jared Goff is a great quarterback as well. So I would be comfortable using a graphic like this, but at the same time, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky since he became a full-time starter in Seattle. His numbers, Brew, I think we can agree that these numbers are as close to identical as you can get. The yards per game are identical. The record is a game different, right? Exactly. Buckle up for this one. Yeah. Just get ready. This is the power of PR. Oh, I mean, it's right. But Brew, you said he's clearly the worst quarterback or not. No, I said they have the worst team in the division. I didn't say anything about, no. But when am I wrong? Was it not Geno versus Herbert that we were arguing about your fluid list? I think you, okay, I don't want to turn this whole thing into just like a whole Geno-verse or anything like that. I mean, and this is not about the power of publicity, okay? This is the power of using our eyes and breaking down what we see, okay? Say what you will about PFF's rankings, but they're not in the game of publicity and politics, and they obviously have Justin Herbert ranked significantly higher than Geno, but I think they have Geno as top 10 because it's not just about stats. Like that's why like when Nick just went on a whole rant about how the stats of Purdy versus Geno is misleading and then now shows more stats and says, well, this isn't misleading though. And it's like, what are you talking about? The last 3 seasons, Justin Herbert has played for an absolutely disastrously poorly run franchise. Like, so it's just, and he has not had a receiver like a DK Metcalf or anything like that. And he's had a coach who's been fired who will never be in the NFL ever again or who will never be a head coach in the NFL ever again. So again, like that's not the argument for Geno Smith and the Las Vegas Raiders. It's just not really. Here's the most base level bottom line argument that's going to sound lukewarm, but it's really the most accurate and the most important because it sets up the floor. And that's when you're a team like the Raiders who have an over under of 6.5 wins. It's like, what's the floor here and why? And the floor here is Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. Great coaches on both sides of the ball, know how to run a team, know how to create the culture, obviously with Pete Carroll. Geno Smith, no matter if you think he's better than Brock Purdy, worse than Justin Herbert, better than Justin, like that's what I'm saying. None of this matters. Where exactly you have Geno Smith ranked doesn't matter. Is he a really darn good quarterback? Absolutely. Absolutely. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to play at the level that he's been able to play. He wouldn't have gotten the contracts that he's been able to get. He's obviously a really good, again, I'm not saying he's top 5. You don't even have to say he's top 10. You don't, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter what number, what ranking, who would you rather have? Geno Smith or Herbert, touchdown, interception, none of that matters. You just have to reach the conclusion, is Geno Smith a darn good quarterback? Yes. Yes, he is. Okay? Does this team have enough pieces, especially on offense? Ashton Genty will most likely be a monster. They have a tight end in Las Vegas that seems like he's going to be pretty good as well, right? The defense. Will the defense be better than it was last year? Yes, it will. Do they have a handful of monsters on defense? Yeah, pretty sure we know a few names out there who are beasts on defense. Do we have a coach who knows how knows how to build and run defenses? Yeah, you have Pete Carroll. Do you have a play caller who has shown with cons with a high level of consistency being able to run offenses? Yeah, you do. His name is Chip Kelly. Like that's all you need. I mean, it's just like you got Smith, Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly. Like just that alone, it's just like as long as everyone is not a below average player to round out the roster, like that's all you need. As long as you're just like not a below average, as long as the average player on the roster is not below average, that'll be good enough to be a pretty good team. And if now there's any other elevation anywhere else in the roster, right? A corner there, a lineman here, a wide receiver there, okay. We think Ashton Genty is obviously, and if I didn't say Ashton Genty, I meant to obviously add Ashton Genty in there as well. If Ash and if someone like Genty or Bowers or, whatever elevate even more than we even originally thought or what we've already seen in the past. Obviously, we haven't seen Ash Genty, but, just follow along. Well, then it's just like that really good team has the potential then to be like, actually like, wow, they're like really, really good. And then that's what you get. So that's why it's like, we can play this stat game all we want, but it's just like it doesn't make sense to, and it's unnecessary, and it's not needed to paint the actual accurate picture of what we could potentially see from the Las Vegas Raiders. Like that's to me is the main more core point and the more important part of the conversation, rather than being like, let's look at Geno Smith to Brock Purdy last year. It's like, well, like, okay, why though? Right now you have to just either reach the conclusion, is Geno Smith a good quarterback or not? And if you think he is a good quarterback, okay, well then there you go. That's all that's the barrier to entry. That's it. That's the only thing you need to reach inclusion. If you don't think he's a good quarterback, well then yes. Then that's my point. None of these stats, like none of this other conversation, then it doesn't matter. Like then it's just like then there's nothing to say. Then you don't think he's a good quarterback. Doesn't matter who's the coach. Doesn't matter who's the piece is. And this resurgence of Geno Smith, again, this is why you got to watch the games. Okay. Geno Smith and the D and the Seattle, the Seattle Seahawks against the Detroit Lions. The Lions were in their bag in that game. I think that was the game when Jared Goff was like perfect. It was like a weird like 12 for 12 or something. And he might have caught a touchdown pass too, whatever it was. That game was about the Lions more than Seattle, more than anything. And you saw Geno really put that team on his back and really get after it. And it was just like I use this example a lot when it's just like I call like my high school quarterback. He's the best player on the team and doing anything he can to put his team in a position to win. But the rest of the team is just not quite doing it. And that was like such a perfect example of that game. And like that is what you saw. And that is an indicator of a quarterback who's like I said, he's not the problem, and he's certainly not relying on the team around him. When we talk about these resurgences and we talk about like, well, it's because you have DK or because you have this coach, you have that. Watch a backup quarterback operate. Then you could see when it's not the quarterback and when it's more the team around them. There's a difference. You can't put it statistically. You can't even 100% circle a play or a drive. It's more of just a feeling. You can see the quarterback operating the offense. You could see the quarterback's level of comfortability navigating what is put in front of him. And there's such a fundamental difference between someone like a Geno Smith, who's obviously going to benefit from some PE, like we can't take away everything from him, but can benefit from having like a DK Metcalf or something like that, and compare that to a quarterback who's clearly not good, but was maybe able to win a couple games or go on like a little bit of a hot streak and put up some nice numbers. And you can see the fundamental difference as to when it's just, well, that team is really what's kind of keeping them afloat, and not so much the quarterback themselves, or clearly the coach is just giving him just layup after layup after layup, or, oh, he's just throwing 50-50 balls to Justin Jefferson out there. So like if all quarterback has to do is just let it rip and just even be remotely accurate, well then, that's Justin, that's Justin Jefferson right there. Like, yeah, you have to kind of really see what you're seeing. At the end of the day, it just ends up being a very binary feeling. It's just kind of like, that's the quarterback, that's the team. That's the quarterback, that's the team. And Geno's resurgence has not just been clearly the team. Well, he's had this resurgence, it's because he's had good receivers. So it's just like, okay, Brock Perry has always been outside of last year when they got the injuries, but Brock Pye's 2 years, 22 and 23 was on an amazing team, and he wheeled and dealed like under that same similar logic. Then Go Smith would be balling because just give Go Smith a great team around him, and apparently his resurgence has shown that he can do it. So then it's just like I don't know. Are we saying that, we can just throw Geno Smith on any team and he'll just be able to carry that team to victory and can win a division or get to a wild card? Like, I'm not making that argument, and I don't care about that argument right now. That argument pretty much never matters at the end of the day, especially when you're specifically talking about the team. If we're talking about an individual quarterback, those arguments start to make a little bit more sense. But really only in the context when we're talking about who's the best quarterback in the NFL, who's the GOAT, when it's really zoomed in. Other than that, it's I don't care if you're a huge Las Vegas Raiders fan. That part of the conversation does not matter. It really doesn't. Even the conversation of who's better quarterback, Geno Smith or Herbert or Geno Smith and Perry, it's just it actually really doesn't matter. Do you believe that Geno Smith can operate an offense and not be a liability for your team? If the answer is yes, well then there you go. If the answer is no, then truthfully there's no other conversation to be had, and showing you direct comparisons to other quarterbacks throughout the NFL. It's a waste of time. So I'm excited about the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe in them. I'm excited to see what they can do. And Geno Smith wildly impressed me last season in any of the games. That's why I'm saying I don't care what the stats show at that point. At that point, I'm just watching the game and I'm not thinking about like, oh, okay, wow, he was 21 for 30 and had 3 touchdowns, and you know, like it's just like at the end of the day, oh, 350 yards, like doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's like I can see with my eyes, oh, that's a guy who's really a focal point of this offense and is really doing everything he can to keep this team afloat. That already is the A baseline for me of like, okay, that's a good quarterback. Don't care about anything else. Don't care about that's a good quarterback. Give this man a roster and a decent enough coach. Yeah, he's not going to be a liability. Is he going to be a little bit more reliant on a spectrum, a little bit more reliant on the roster than, of course, like a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, of course. But like I said, like I always say, it's like those are such unique circumstances that I'm not going to judge. I almost fell into that trap like a year ago where I just was like, can they carry a team? Can they carry a team? Can they elevate? And it's just like, you know what? I really reached a conclusion that only matters so much when we're trying to figure out who's better. Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. Yep. Conversation that matters tremendously. Absolutely. Even if we want to start to have like weird obscure conversations like who's better, Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott. Sure. When we're trying to figure out like, can this quarterback help me win games and win a Super Bowl? It actually fundamentally does not matter because first and foremost, you need to build a good enough team and you need to have a good enough coaching staff to guide that team. So that's why something like this in this moment, I'm just like, it's just like, I don't care. It's like doing a head-to-head right now of like, well, actually, Russell Wilson is better than Dak Prescott. And it's like, okay, what does it matter? Doesn't matter to me right now. I don't care. That conversation means who's building a better team, who has the better coaching staff. Are both quarterbacks just good enough right now? Yes. Number, yes. Number. What's the answer here? That's the conversation about the Broncos, about the Raiders. I almost got there, almost stuck the landing, and I tripped. About the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Raiders and Geno? Do you believe in this Raiders resurgence? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.